Anyways, spawning in the bottom right-hand position of Belcher Vestige, playing 4-team Acer in red, playing Zerg. It is Paranoid, currently 1 game up.
And in the opposing corner, it is going to be the blue Protoss player, all the way from South Korea. It is going to be Genius.
Yeah, that impression, it was kind of like, it was like the love child of Arnold Schwarzenegger and the Cookie Monster. It was crazy. Genius, do you think maybe he's struggling with lag a little bit? I mean, it's been talked about in the past that, there's this kind of wall of lag that breaches the Korean and European servers, and it's very difficult to play on either one from either Korea or Europe, respectively. So maybe that's why he's focusing on the kind of the 2-base play. Just a thought. What do you think?
Yeah, that might very well be true. I don't know if he's really in Korea at the moment. Of course, a lot of Koreans have been sent out onto the world to play also in different regions. We see a lot of them also playing in Europe and mostly North America. So that could also be possible. But of course, yeah, you are completely right. There is indeed such a quote-unquote lag wall between Europe and Korea that usually prevents players from playing on either server if they are in the other location. So that might also be the case, that he's going for those all-in plays we saw there previously.
Yeah, definitely. Switching up his gameplay here, he's gone for a forge inside his base, inside his main, that is, and planting a pylon down at the natural as well. Makes it look like he's going to follow this up with a relatively quick nexus. Pretty quick probe here.
He might go for the cannon rusher, by the way. Sorry to interrupt you there, because there is that spot in the bottom side of Belcher Vestige where you can throw down those pylons and, well, creating such a comfy zone where basically no Zerg units can get into, and also with no overload hovering above that hatchery, Paranoid basically has no clue of what is happening here. Pretty much just 5 meters away from his hatchery. Might eventually now see the probe. He didn't see it, I think. So he's completely clueless what was happening there.
Meanwhile, his Overlord is going to spot the Nexus going up as well. Genius not putting the Nexus down. The Overlord is hovering around and he does see it, and he drops the cannon first. I think that's pretty sensible. But he's going to look to put up this cannon here, and Lings do now spot the cannons. But is it too late? We've got cannons finishing up perfectly. He has got time to cancel this hatchery, but it's so late into its production cycle, and there's a second cannon finishing up as well. So he's going to be able to put a lot of pressure, and the probe hasn't actually been taken out, and there goes the cancel. So Genius already taking a march on his opponent here. His Nexus has just started, and he's got gateways coming up as well with a cannon at the natural, so he's pretty safe. I think job well done.
Yeah, absolutely. That definitely already put Genius in a very nice position. Of course, he sacrificed a couple of minerals for that. But I think throwing away, quote-unquote, throwing away 400 minerals for denying your opponent's natural for quite some time is definitely a good trade. And it, of course, also forces Paranoid to take more undefendable, a little bit more undefendable bases here as we look to that normal 4th base, which is now the 3rd base. If Genius went for some sorts of gateway timings, like a 4 or 3 gate of 2 bases, he could very well try to look and take that one out here.
I think that's quite a good point as well. He's going to really be able to just segment his opponent's bases, and like you say, they're pretty vulnerable, having been spread out over the map, and obviously he wants to take this natural, but he can't at the moment. There are these 2 whopping great cannons here. How do you think he gets rid of these? Does he go up to roaches relatively quickly, or does he just ignore them for as long as possible?
I think going up to roaches would be the smartest way of doing that, because if he ignores them for too much time, that pylon could become could become a warp-in pylon. And having a warp-in pylon directly in your natural base is never a good idea. So I think going up to roaches and just trying to breach that would be the smartest idea. Even though it sounds a little bit brutal, I think most players go for something like that. But as it is right now, Paranoid once again playing without any gases whatsoever. Well, now eventually we'll take them. And also the roaches, yeah. Okay, never mind then. Eat my words.
You're just being a bit of a prophet there, Elmo. Don't worry about it. Yeah, going up to double gases and putting the Roach Warren down, I approve of this decision. Meanwhile, Genius's tech choice is the Stargate play, so pretty happy with that. We'll see if he actually makes any Stargate units this time around. There is an Overlord positioned around the outside of his natural, but he hasn't spotted this yet, so that could take him by surprise. Meanwhile, we've got a Zealot checking. He's going to spot this third base here, and that is quite important. Genius hadn't spotted this before, and now having seen that, that's really, really going to open up a few timings for him, and he's going to be like, well, this is vulnerable. Maybe I can hit this later on in the game.
Absolutely, that could very well be the case here. Already throwing down a Robo Bay. Not a Robo Bay, but a robotic facility. Might be looking for some timings, maybe after that start. Maybe also once again a 2-base or that could also work out here very well for him. So now first of all going to look and take out those overlords that are scattered around the map with those Phoenix here. 3 additional gateways are thrown down. Let's see what he decides to go for here. Definitely
again, only making 1 Phoenix at the moment. The rally point is set to that Phoenix, so I'd like to think he'll make another one, but just comfortable with sitting on 1 Phoenix and certainly not another one in production at the moment. So it's just these weird fake-out timings with the Phoenixes. And meanwhile, the Roaches do come in to try and clean up the cannons at the natural, and I think they're going to be able to get them as well. Plenty of Roaches and a few Lings here as well. And yeah, it looks like that's going to be the end of the cannon rush. But yeah, you know, look, it's 8 minutes 40, and he's only just putting down his hatchery at his natural. So this is great work here from Genius. That really, really paid off.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, it is his 4th base by now. But still, he has really pretty much undefendable bases. Or 1 undefendable base right there at the 4th base location. Usually you would just not really take that. You would wait until you have a sizable army to be able to deal or defend that. Of course, now it's pretty much a weak point here of Paranoid, and and Genius of course knows that. He's already sending out a Void Ray here, maybe trying to take out a couple of Queens or maybe even Roaches, because they cannot shoot up. And then maybe eventually after that going for a small gateway army trying to take that out.
Yeah, getting targeted down by a Void Ray as a Roach must suck. That's gonna, especially if you don't have Roach speed and you know it's in production as well. You're just like, oh, come on, guys, really? And this Void Ray's even charging up as well. It's going to be able to really do some work. Nice micro coming out from Genius there, microing his Void Ray as well. Probably going to get a second Roach kill here. Yeah, it looks like he does. Genius has taken his 3rd base. I like this decision. And he's making Immortals as well. With that Robo Bay finishing up, Colossus is going to be the tech choice coming out from him, and it looks like he's really going to set himself up for a nice late mid-game or even kind of late-game play style here.
Yeah, absolutely. More Roaches are in production here for Paranoid. They are just at the moment, or at least the remaining ones, are just running around the map, not really knowing what to do there with that Void Ray constantly chasing them. Looks kind of funny, to be quite honest. Already 5 kills there.
It's kind of like having a stalker, you know? It's these poor Roaches.
No, stop it. I don't want to be stalked. No, leave me alone.
They need to get a restraining order on that Void Ray.
Definitely.
But, no, they can't. Meanwhile, Genius hasn't really made any more Stargate units. He's kind of just saying, well, I'll make 1 Void Ray. I'll see what I can get done with it. That Void Ray's gotten itself 5 kills, probably 6 by now. 9!
Oh
I take that back. Wow. Void Ray definitely paying for itself. And you know, it's a sizable investment, but I would say 9 kills, most of those being Roaches, totally worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. That definitely worked out very, very nicely for Genius. He's now also going to start Colossus production here. I don't know if he has extended thermal lens yet. No, not quite. Eventually we'll start that. Now also Roaches are trying to do here something, pushing into multiple sides here, but with Photon Overcharge being activated and already 2 Immortals out, they cannot do anything. Will be eventually pushed away. Try to take out a pylon here, but they will not succeed. Immortals
no,
with
you know your push has failed when you fail to get even a pylon.
The Immortals with their phase disruptors will just clean those Roaches up. Eventually another wave is going to go into that 3rd base, but of course once again those Roaches will be cleaned up with the help of Photon Overcharge. Eventually losing 1 pylon or something like that, but not really worth mentioning.
Yeah, just Genius showing off really, really good, strong defense here. I mean, slow Roaches. I mean, I think they do have speed by this point. Yeah, they do. But you know, just pure Roach like this, that's bread and butter for the Stalker, Immortal, Colossus, Sentry combination, especially with the Photon Overcharge as well. Meanwhile, Paranoid's coming up for round 2 or round 3 by this point. Going to try and do some work here at the 3rd. He takes out 1 pylon, he takes out the cannon as well. But Photon Overcharge again gets deployed, and these Roaches do get forced back. Meanwhile, there's a second contingent of Roaches moving up again to the natural, looking to split apart that Protoss force, and just as the Protoss force retreats to try and combat this, they bust through, taking out one pylon, and then now the second one. A Colossus pops up. That Colossus needs to be careful. The Roaches not interested though, they're just going to walk straight up into the main, going for the mineral lines. Meanwhile, more Roaches attempt at the third, but most of the Protoss army is here ready to be able to combat this.
Yeah, eventually the push in the third base will be cleaned up, but the Roaches in the main base are still doing a lot of work, killing off a lot of workers. You're taking a look at the workers killed. 14, 15 and counting workers have been killed so far, which of course puts Paranoid in a very, very nice position. But of course, Genius says, well, if you kill my main base, I'm just gonna go ahead and kill your base. So walks up to that fourth base, or eventually was a third base, and will definitely take that one out without any chance of Paranoid denying that. Will evacuate the drones out of there, but most of them will die. Base goes down. And actually Genius has now picked up a lot of momentum. Taking a look at the army supplies, it's currently 99 against 50. Basically doubling the army supplies there. And that is not good. But now we have 50 Muralisks in production. And if they arrive, they definitely should save Paranoid there.
Yeah, there's not a great deal of anti-air. We had a little Zealot run by along on the left-hand side of the map. These are getting cleaned up by the Lings. There are plenty of Lings out on the map, but there are quite a few Stalkers actually. So the Mutalisks will have to be careful not to get picked off one by one like they are doing. Trying to, one Mutalisk, two Mutalisks trying to think they can take on the whole Protoss army. Plenty of Stalkers are out here as well. He's got to be careful to protect these from the Lings. Stalkers are doing a great deal of damage here. They're going to start to work on the Mutalisks, and there goes the GG from Paranoid. Not enough in the end. Congratulations to Genius. He claws his way back into the series. It's currently 1-1.